I just watched the Netflix Death Note movie and boy are my arms tired. What's that? That joke doesn't work in this context? Well, what a coincidence. Neither do the changes made in this movie. Readers, I'm pretty sure that you've heard by now that the American live-action Death Note is bad. And if you haven't, let me be the one to tell you that it's bad. Not if you haven't watched the anime or read the manga, mind you. As its own standalone movie under those parameters, it's watchable. But for a lot of us who know better, and not because we are better, but because we're actually properly educated, there were a lot of things that happened in this movie that if they were either fixed or completely removed, it would have made this Death Note movie feel more like a Death Note movie. What would have done it for me is proper characterization. Not the Shinigami eyes, not the quote-unquote whitewashing of Light and Misa. Oh, I'm sorry. Mia. For me, it was the fact that the writers cared too much about making these characters relatable to us, and in doing so alienated them from the characteristics that attracted us to these characters in the first place. The perfect example in this situation would be Light Turner. In the manga and anime, Light Yagami is a high school prodigy, and more importantly, a high-functioning sociopath that we begin to notice more and more over his time as Kila. He's manipulative, he's always 3 steps ahead of the police and other Shinigami other than Ryuk, and he constantly plans ahead. It's because we've seen this thought process from Light over the course of the manga and the anime. We begin to understand his character traits and his decision-making process whenever we see him face adversity. And we also see more prominent sociopathic behavior when Misa Amane is introduced. We know this because Light constantly uses her Amy Rose level infatuation with him to his advantage over the course of the story, using her for her Shinigami eyes, and creating this long yet efficient plan to eliminate both Rem, the Shinigami watching over Misa, and L at the same time. And even though we've acknowledged time after time that for all the things that his character's proven that he's capable of, that Light ain't shit, we still find ourselves in one way or another anticipating how he's going to get out of the situation that he's currently in. Even in the Japanese live-action movies, these attributes to Light's character were present despite how you feel about them. Even though the main plot of the first movie was only loosely based on one arc the manga and anime covered, these aspects of the character, including his sociopathic tendencies, were still there. At the end of the day, Light Yagami was Light Yagami, and made the Japanese Death Note movies actual Death Note movies. Light Turner, on the other hand, Light Turner was an attempt to keep the things we liked about Light while taking out the things that the writers thought made him unapproachable. Things like his god complex, his sociopathic tendencies, his need to always be 3 steps ahead of his enemies to the point where when they did decide to show he had potential for the latter, it completely fell out of place. And it's because of these decisions, the version of Light that we got in the Netflix movie was that one kid that we always avoided talking to in high school. Because every time we did talk to him, he would only go on a rant about how the establishment is bullshit, how he refuses to be a robot, and that Radiohead is a better grunge band than Nirvana. Yeah. Point made. Because so much of Yagami's core was taken out when creating Turner, he ended up becoming just a hollow shell of the character. And not a chocolate hollow shell either. That would imply that there's something there that you would want to eat. Outside of Ryuk, the only character that came close to staying true to its Japanese counterpart was L. But the writers thought that his sociopathic tendencies were also unapproachable and decided to make him uncharacteristically emotional during the 3rd act of the movie, which eventually became his main motivator. It was as if none of the writers of the movie watched Robert Downey Jr.'s or Benedict Cumberbatch's depictions of Sherlock Holmes before. Oh, I'm sorry, did you think I was going to say something else? Both versions of the character stay true to what makes Sherlock Holmes Sherlock Holmes, high-functioning sociopath and all, because to do otherwise would to do the character a great disservice. And that goes double for Cumberbatch because Sherlock is placed in modern times, not a period piece like the Guy Ritchie films. It proves that you don't have to make a character approachable by stripping away its essence and replacing it with something that you think is better for the audience you're delivering it to. You just have to You just have to make the thing that you're putting the character in actually good. And the Netflix Death Note movie had good things about it that if they just used the characters presented to them as they were, with only a 5% tweak as opposed to a full-blown half, the Netflix Death Note movie would have felt more like a Death Note movie than the one we actually got. But hey, on the bright side, at least they got Liuk right. So with that, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below what you think they got wrong about Netflix's Death Note. Whether it was the casting, whether it was the setting, I'd love to know your thoughts. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.